fully rebuilt CLG. Like, they could have a different name and you'd believe it. Like, everything is new about this roster, and that's fun because to be fair, it was a pretty sorry state for a while. I'm glad they ripped out the roots and planted something new here.
Yeah.
On the Immortal side, I think they took some of the best parts. I like Revenge. I really, really like Xerxes. I like Destiny. And they brought in 2 great players. PoE and Turtle are both outstanding players. And you know, of the idea of like, well, there's the 5 whales and the 5 free-to-plays, Immortals are everyone's kind of nod for like the best looking of the sort of cheaper rosters.
Yeah, you know, they did not have the budget of some of the top teams.
They're not spending Steve money.
It's basically top 5, bottom 5, as far as where the line is drawn for the budgets. Immortals, though, I do want to point out, since they are touching on, you know, this old style of building teams, you know, referring to, you know, bringing in like Wild Turtle and stuff like that. Revenge, they have invested most heavily in Revenge, building up this young North American talent, as well as putting a lot of confidence in him, and they've tried to surround him with so much of this veteran playstyle and solid individuals from Immortals, which, by the way, they also went through stringent tryouts for these players. It's not like they just signed them based on brands alone or anything. Turtle beat out all of the other AD carries in their scrims, in their individual tryouts. So happy to see him back on stage. Excited to see what goes down. Now, Diana was mentioned by the analyst desk, but I know for a fact that Contracts is an absolute monster on Lee Sin. I really will be so surprised if Lee Sin goes very much further in this draft phase. Either Immortal will pick it up here, or CLG will pick it up on the 2-3. Yeah. As far as jungle priority, it's so far whittled down with Hecarim, Jarvan, and Xin all banned from blue side from CLG. Just massive target on Xerxes' back. So I feel like Lee Sin is just so big right now in this draft. It's probably going to be traded for the Viego then. It has to be Contracts. Lee Sin is most played from all time. He has been playing it recently as well, so he's definitely ready with the mechanics.
And they're going to go for utility down the bottom side with Jhin locked in quickly. Jinx, again, normally, and Aphelios, something that you see much more commonly. Thresh is available for taking, so playing an Aphelios Thresh or a Jinx Thresh is available right off the bat. But they say, no, we're going for a safer bottom side. We're playing more for utility. There's the Lee Sin you mentioned. There's the Jinx that we know is highly prized. Aphelios will go through this draft unpicked. Sure, fair enough. And the question is now, are you answering support here, or are you willing to weather bans? I think they should be willing to weather bans. And take like a priority mid laner like a Corki, not TF, but a Corki, a LeBlanc, a Victor. Like those are kind of the top 3 left in the pool. Grab those, ban the others, and get some priority in that lane.
Yeah, I definitely highly value an enchanter response here, like a Karma or something, to have the range on bottom side. Yuumi will do similar things, but very, very good combination with Viego. As a jungler, your eyes light up when you see this support pick. Yuumi actually, I feel like it's just so much better when jumping on assassins for the late game. Allowing Viego to get those resets, even allowing him to start off a lot of these fights, normally has to be a little bit more cautious when looking for those kills. So big AoE, big scaling opportunities there with this champ too.
Yeah, Yuumi to me, and I'll plant my flag in the ground, Yuumi is the Kale of support picks. That and Zillion, basically. There are some incredibly hard scaling supports that suck in lane really hard. They're easy to bully, but they scale to infinity, and Yuumi truly scales to infinity. She really gets absurd in late game team fights. The problem is, of course, you can be bullied.
Buzz Lightyear.
But you can go awfully bullied, right? Like, what does Jhin do when Leona's in the lane? Hope you dodge every skill shot before you get one shot, right? Like, it's not really possible, and it's why you can't just, like, blind pick Yuumi Jhin in every lane. But against Lulu, the matchup's relatively flat. You're still gonna get pushed in early game. Yes, of course. Lulu's still useful. Yes, of course. But you're gonna eventually outscale her and probably not get bullied too hard. It's not what I would say is a counter pick in this case, but, like, you're gonna look pretty good here, and you're gonna have the scaling advantage for a weaker early laning phase. That's why they went for the Jhin, that's why they went for utility. They're like, well, we see a Lulu, we're okay to scale down here. We'll play around Revenge and Q.
Yeah, Lulu does have very good scaling as well. You know, also other enchanters like Sona too. So definitely some good options as we turn our eyes towards some of those assassin bans actually banned out by Immortals themselves, trying to take away some of these Palafox playmakers. And that's one of the players we're trying to highlight here for CLG. You know, gets a second chance as far as you know, the LCS here, where it was a big flop. So much hype into him last year, and kind of fell apart there on FlyQuest, but these assassin champs that Immortals are banning out are that respect and the reason why he was hyped up and kind of brought into it.
course. So, the end of the draft approaches. Gwen blind picked here for revenge in the top lane. Jenkins had a little bit of time playing on the TL main squad. Gangplank was by far his most played champion across his career. It is going to be locked in here as well. Now, this is after the Gangplank buffs, lower Q cooldown, lower Q mana cost. As far as solo queue, he's not really an absurd champion. I think Gwen does eventually outscale the pick, but gonna have some lane progress.
I do want to credit him, though, for being one of the first to do the Gangplank into Gwen when Gwen first came out and was in even arguably a stronger position than she is in now. And Gangplank has gotten some very nice buffs due to the changes to grass and then compensation buffs. So I am very excited to see Mr. Jenkins on the Gangplank coming up here. But PoE gets his control mage, is a Azir for the mid lane, and there is definitely a lot of scaling there.
Yeah.
We get to see some Vex as well. Freak, you already know my feelings on this champion, so definitely excited for the firepower here. Yeah, easy to play, but also very powerful.
Yes.
So sometimes it can be a derogatory term when you're looking down on champions that are, you know, easy to play, but Vex does have some really nice skill expression that is a little bit, you know, a step above like the Annie, but also has a really big impact with the giant amount of CC that she brings. And there are tons of dashes on the opponent team too, so you know, can get the going a bit quicker.
I'm going to look for here. I'm curious if Palafox can interrupt Power People mid-charge. Of course, all of the crowd control from Vex will interrupt you mid-dash. So if you're going for the you know, W, EQ forward, figured out, no slide back, and you get comboed.
First time that happened to me, I was pissed. I was just, eyes get big. You know, you fall into the traps of like the overly repeated new champion hatred stuff that comes out. But whenever you get overruled in interactions where you know, you feel you should have priority, it's always a frustrating thing. And Vex, to my knowledge thus far, just anecdotally, has won almost all of the interactions that I have seen her try and contest as far as the dashes. You know, I haven't tested the Warwick ult into it, but I do know that Warwick ult loses to Camille E even, which
interesting.
Always enraged me as far as a regular ability.
He glomps on and then she stuns him off because of like the hitbox size.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Even though the ult is unstoppable because it goes first, then you have
not unstoppable during the clawing.
It's an angry one.
Yeah, I understand.
We need a giant chart for all of these interactions for League of Legends. Gragas is also, by the way, very high up there on that chart as far as body slam overruling so many. But let's get into this one, because that is down a tangent that has no say in this game.
Not just yet. That's okay. Maybe, I don't know, we'll find a way to 7 champions mid-game and it'll be back on topic. But right now...
next season, preseason big changes.
Yeah, you actually draft 20 champions and you switch at 20 minutes.
It's going to be like one of those fighting games where you can switch people in and out.
That's it. Yeah, that's how Project L's goes, right? You bring
League of Legends 2, baby.
No, it's just a fighting game, you know? It's like objectively, you bring 2 characters. Like, all right, great, that's going to be fun. Eventually, whenever it comes out, we don't play fighting games, but I'll suck at that one. It'll be fine. We are under the rift, though. Palafox versus Power of Evil in the mid lane here. 3 scaling picks in all 3 lanes. The Yuumi, the Azir, and the Gwen all going to look really, really good as time goes on. The Uber and Boom effects of the way pretty early on. Generally speaking, Boom on auto attack will look better for the Jinx side. Aerie, definitely pretty good focus here as well. And indeed, first wave goes to CLG, then crash second wave onto the trail.
And kind of as an overarching point for the meta, it has turned into this arms race of very heavy emphasis on scaling, which is not really a surprise if you look at a lot of the changes from preseason and you know, objective bounties as well as individual champion spots, enchanters being in an extremely strong spot. Meanwhile, this is tremendous trading on bottom side with the healing is one of the more exciting.
Summoners on, Exhaust Ignite, and Wild Turtle burns! The weak laning phase of Yuumi is punished, the Summoners goes down, but Jinx Lulu takes the win.
Welcome, Luger and Boom! These two have played together for the entire time that Luger has been over in North America. Over a year on this duo on bottom side. You know, people are looking at CLG as this Academy All-Stars squad put together. They actually also have pre-existing synergy, even with drawing from different parts across from Academy in the bottom lane, not backing down against the Yuumi Jhin early on. Nice follow-up there. Boom with the flash, got the last bit of damage, so the first blood money, not incredibly, perfect situation for it going over into the hands of the support, but definitely worth going for to ensure that you find that kill, ensure that you get that gold lead down to your bottom side. And meanwhile, Contracts did also get the exposition through the bottom side. Ripper trading scuttle grabs as well as giving him the rewards.
Simon's going back down to his bottom side after getting bottom scuttle, takes the Krugs to finish out his first clear of the camps. Then we'll see the resets come through. Xerxes on a very similar camp on his top side on his Krug, so that's all moving forward. First recalls came through, first TPs came through the top lane. Doran's shield plus Doran's ring, and the refillable for Revenge. Full Sheen, as you expect, coming through first out of Jenkins.
I do also want to say, too, for Jenkins' pick with his Gangplank, obviously everyone who has watched LCS last year knows this is one of his most comfortable champions. It is definitely a comfort pick for him. Also quite used to picking it into the Gwen, but with the changes to TP, Gangplank Ultimate has extra access towards the bottom side when top laners can actually join with their teleports until they get unleashed. The Contracts is there as well. Yuumi easily able to jump back over to Turtle, but
Revenge a bit low, but can't get shot back yet by Jenkins. He's going to come through to keep the health bar a bit more equalized. Extra corrupting potion stack there for Jenkins. Stuns the jungler. 3v3 here is now. Yuumi jumps in. The root on a contract. Is he in danger? Has the flash if he needs it. Flash to safety to stay alive. Health bar is low. Nice push in by Immortals, forcing a flash for Flash.
Yeah, it's a really good counter here from Immortals, but unless they collapse, they actually go through with this dive, which they very well might if this poke continues to land.
They want it. Contract is far away and very low on health. Who does he have the crowd control? Shield Chopper's gonna get him back on the turret. Noah's Destiny who pulls aggro. Teleports come down for defense. Contract's a one hit. Kill comes through. Turtle will drop. Oh, is that a fear? No, it's already on cooldown. But the Q lands for the electrocute, and the shots come through. Luger, he's got himself 2 more kills.
This is exactly where they want that money, Freak. The
Yeah.
problem is rectified. Both of the kills go on to Luger, onto the Jinx. Perfect timing on the tweet. Cubby, shout out to the Academy caster. Whew, that is giant stuff from the answer here from CLG. Teleport coming in from Palafox to turn this dive around, and that's the thing, this is so telegraphed. Yes, you're landing this poke, you're softening them up, but they have full vision. CLG have advanced notice that this dive is going off. So immediate polymorph there from Boom. He buys some time, well done by him. Xerxes, though, is able to pick up the body, so heals back up, and if it wasn't for the teleport from Palafox coming in with the massive damage to set up the rocket from Luger, just switching over, able to get the explosion there for the double. That is huge. The slingshots this Jinx into giant carry potential. Well done there.
Rays haven't sat in over a year. I am excited for CLG. That was a nice play from Palafox showing a bot lane, and this duo off to the races.
And it's crazy now, too, because we're living in a world, Freak, where before 14 minutes, you have to walk into those teleport plays. That is not possible if you're not tower diving. Palafox can only teleport to their turret, so that is something you have to account for here, even in the new world where bottom laners are getting used to playing without these teleports joining. You're like, oh man, why didn't Power of Evil join? Well, he couldn't. That's why.
And nothing about the lead, right? This is now your goal to work. And to be fair, item-wise, it's just the poke ability. That's the difference in items right here. But you get the Jinx Whimsy, you walk at the Jhin, and he's like, you're right, bye, I'll drop my wave.
Do want to say, too, because we tried to touch on it before, but the Gangplank ultimate is available for Jenkins. He might be able to turn.
No fear just yet. Soon, though, GP ult comes across, and Palafox turns it right back in. Goes for round 2. That shuffle was sick, though, and it's an overextension. Immortals gets it back.
Yeah, really good there from PoE, because if that answer does not come through, CLG, I feel like the momentum in this game will just come to a giant swell as they've got the leads in the correct places and they're about to run over, turning those into objectives. If Palafox does not overstep there and he doesn't get shuffled into the tower, that's going to be Dragon picked up too. Then you're facing a Fed Jinx versus a team with a lead that also has Dragon starting to stack. So giant combo breaker play here for Power of Evil. Shoves Palafox into the turret, gets the kill, makes sure that CLG not able to pick up the Dragon afterwards, and gives Immortals some hope for later on in the game. Really good map awareness, though, and coordination coming from the CLG squad already. You know, the teleport global coming in that Immortals don't account for. Then the Gangplank ultimate coming in to set themselves up.
We're on the way forward, though. Jenkins on the way to Essence Weaver on the Gangplank. Pretty standard for the crit build to go this way. Partial to Force myself, but this is one of the options for a very bursty, very squishy build. Divine Sunder is a never, by the way, on Gangplank, don't do it. Right now, though, fighting over wards, as Cersei is indeed going to kill Palafox's aggressive control ward.
Yeah, because of the barrel interact. Like, I'm just like, I was gonna propose to you a situation where the entire rest of the enemy team is like all self-stacking chaos, and you're not so worried about the barrel interaction.
But the problem is the barrels give you like 30% armor pen, and well, there's gonna be fights. We'll talk about it later. Barrels coming down for a little bit of damage, good slow in a Xerxes, and they're gonna walk away. So the reason Sunder is not good with barrels is you do like 12% max health or 1.5 times your base AD. It's always 1.5 times base AD against barrels. Trinity Force is 2 times base AD against barrels. It's literally always more damage, and you never get the health stat benefit. So that's the TLDR. Fight now in the top river. Here we go. Smite, good pick up there, Stolen Rift Herald, and it belongs to Immortal. Shuffle back, catches one. The dunk's down. Jacob Lulu ultimate still goes down. POE gets a second.
Really good here from Immortals. They roam the Jin Yuumi halfway up the river. They know that Wild Turtle, even if they didn't outplay that, this is way too far, Cersei.
A flashes, autos from Lulu, burning. I believe he will not net the ignite and gets out. That is a lot lost for nothing.
Yeah, definitely aggressive move there from him. Getting big eyes for that Gromp. Regardless, it was a very good comeback play here from Immortals. Walking Jin up very closely to the lane. You know that he will be able to add the W plus the ultimate even if they only get halfway in range. But also just well played around the Rift Herald to secure it and you know, secure the fight there for themselves too. So a couple of comeback punches here. If you count the play from Power Beetle in mid lane, combo breaker on the objective there, denying the first dragon, Immortals then still get Rift Herald for themselves. Plenty of time to use it for plates to get the gold right back in this game and turn this right back around to fight around dragon as well. Power Beetle's also scaling here. The team fight man on this team. The mid lane carries so much space always, no matter what team he's on, put into PoE to carry those late game fights. Now 2 kills to his name on the Azir, and with the objective starting to go their way, Immortals like the way that this turnaround is taking shape.
And he's going for a more aggressive build. This looks like Luton's on the docket, not for a crown here. You have the crystal for the crown, so is going for the bursty, kind of squishy option. To be fair, COG has 0 things on the roster. There are champions, so there is a case that they will stack some MR, but yeah, going for the offensive option makes sense. Get the people to top. Divine Sunder in for Xerxes. I think for a while, Shield was a really competitive build. Shield will nerf, it's probably a little bit closer as players go for the tankier option in pro play.
Yeah, pro plays just pretty much always Sunder and Sterix, so definitely feel like it should continue here, especially as you mentioned, there's a lot of preset targets. He's going to want to get in there. It should be a quick one for him to get. Here's the CLG now trying to set up for this dragon off of the top side exposure there from Cersei. Should pick it up even on the ward, so good reaction from Contracts and the bottom lane. Push on in, get dragon control, pick up the objective for yourselves, and the Chompers also going to allow a tiny bit of extra damage, not the biggest deal.
No, hopefully it'll be okay. Plenty of health right there, and though there is a Gale Force up, Luger up that Mythic, it's not going to be a fight they can force just yet. Defensive turn for Turtle as he goes towards what looks like steel caps pretty early on.
Again, a little bit of overexposure on top side here for CLG. 3 members, top side for Immortals looking to dive Gangplank while the rest of CLG are pushing off bottom side. It's a good trade for them.
And a kill as the dive comes in. PP to answer though. Xerxes drops Zago for a moment, tries to get away, and not yet dead. Xerxes gets away with his life. 5-5 now and kills. Immortals making a good tower dive happen. Here's the Herald summon. So Palafox, he's got the fear back. Does he get a kill for it though? And no, just gets completely sniped and shut down. Immortals with a huge play topside.
Intelligent play there. PoE takes that turret side, ensuring nobody else has to die. If they can finish this one off before Contracts gets there, I think it's going to be very dangerous for him to fight it.
Yeah, you're now 1v3, buddy. Health bars are low. Sure, you've got a kick, yes, but not going to have any big playmaking. There was a double kill for CLG in the bottom lane, so the Poom Gang with Luger, they are still popping off down there. They are slaughtering Turtles and Destiny in that lane. That's going to be a play. Contracts gets one, traded back, though. I will still say is an advantage to Immortals. They get the assist on it, so they get more money. I didn't flash you though.
I'm glad we got to see that. That's just fun. You know, both of them are thinking this play is coming. Contracts one step ahead there, dashes backwards, dodges it. In the end, it's still an assisted kill for the side of Mortal, so it is still worth it to them, but looks cool. And it's going to get a 3-9 so woo, nice play there. I will say, CLG, they could have won this so much harder. As you mentioned, with the kill on bottom side, Boom and Booger have been demolishing this bottom side. They were able to put so much work in, chunking them down really low first, then with the heal, move up forward, bully them off of tower positioning, get the double themselves. And the rest of CLG, if they hadn't committed the teleport and just resigned Jenkins to his death on top side, could have gotten out with it with just the answer on turret and 1 kill. But still favorable for them because Luger deserves this money, Freak.
He does.
I'm all aboard the Luger hype train here for CLG. Richest man in the game. He's got a Lulu at his back.
Yeah. And it's gonna kind of have to be about him, right? Like, next 2 plays, Xerxes and PoE, like, they are gonna crush teamfights if it's not the Jinx who does it herself. So it is very quickly about the CLG bot lane. It feels like we're back in 2012. The CLG bot lane's the win condition. They just gotta make it happen, So we'll see if it comes through. A bit of an old look and throwback here, and now we gotta fight right there in the jungle. Lulu Wolf is on, but Contract's still low, has to jump backwards out. Xerxes at full health, and now the Jin ulti comes across. They can block these shots. Yeah, should be no problem. Palafox can easily make that happen. So, okay, ulti on cooldown, back to mid-pressure.
Yeah, good health chunk, but, junglers are very hard to keep low because you can heal so much in the jungle. Contracts right back to full, smites on Raptor Camp, no problem there for them. CLG can recover after a good little chunk of damage here from Immortals sitting on Brush first. And as we revisit the top lane, Revenge here. The young star for Immortals, what they kind of rebuilt their team around, bringing in all the veterans to support Revenge in his efforts, in their building of the next generation here, has reached level 11 on the Gwen, starting to put together the items here, should be able to get the Riftmaker on next back, and will start to bring some of that more frontline focus and chasing power that from the later game Gwen.
Yes, indeed, and she's just going up and up and up, and I can't wait to see what Gwen Yuumi does in a team fight. It's going to be everyone's, 2 least favorite champions together. It's going to be great. Looking forward to CLG having a really hard time dealing with that.
I would even throw Viego in there and say, you can have all 3 of them when Yuumi jumping back between the other 2, and going to cause as much outrage as possible.
You did PoE to pick Zoe, and I think, Turtle can play Zed. And then we just have, everyone on the internet sad about it. Maybe we'll get a Chem Rift when the Dragon comes. Here we go. All right, Herald low, 2k health, almost in smite range, and it's going to go the way of CLG. Luger got the last hit. A nice spear means Xerxes' days are numbered. Ults just barely to safety, and flashes away from the rocket. Now, Destiny have been very good at jumping off to tank the rocket, and at least take the finished flash, if not none. But a flash in that case wasn't required, so smart to get away.
Again, are pretty hard to chunk out for free objectives because they can heal a lot off the camp, but he got chunked down to almost 4% there, so he's out of the fight. Had to go all the way up to Krugs to try and heal, and it will mean Rift Node immediately used on that mid turret to try and open up the territory for setting up for Dragon. He can't finish it off though. So defenses remain here for Immortals. It's still going to be a really, really dangerous test if they wanted to risk anything for it. They do have Jin ultimates, so a little bit of range to poke around with, but everybody else going up towards top side would lead you to believe this is Dragon number 2 for CLG.
Looking good. They see, of course, Azir comes down to the bottom lane to hold the wave. They know, okay, Smite is not required. It doesn't really need to save for anything, but whatever. Gonna get Cloud Rift here in this case. But yeah, PoE had to take a bottom wave. They had mid pressure already. They're rocking down, and gonna get out to the map. So okay, first 2 dragons, first 1,400 gold. It goes CLG's way. Still a fairly close game, and I gotta reiterate, I favor the scaling of Immortals. Gangplank, I would actually argue, is pretty flat throughout the game. Has a decent laning phase and then a decent late game. Doesn't get substantially better than his laning compared to someone like, say, a Gwen or a Azir, where they really take off as time goes on.
They do have a lot of, I will say, there's no damage problems or playmaking problems, for the setup here though. So I think it's going to come a lot down to execution as we do get into it. The Yuumi though, Yuumi plus, as we keep on iterating the Gwen or the Diego option is really the biggest scary part here for the late game. That is going to be the question that CLG are trying to answer.
Yeah.
And if they can make really good use of the zone control, gangplank barrels, ultimate, as well as Vex control, very good space, and maybe even the choppers, this can be an option for them. They are set up well with a lot of pressure on these objectives, with the gold lead as well, allowing them to get there first in a lot of these cases and have the wards and the setup to do it. So I think they've got it stacked in their favor for quite a while here until we get to the uber late game.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the whole idea of a scaling advantage is like, yeah, we've gotten past 30 minutes and it's a close game at 30 minutes. All right, they've probably taken over. I give them the edge. Not it's over, not just FF now. It's like, all right, they're stronger barring a good outplay. We're certainly not at that point where we're like, oh, it's a one-item Gwen. The game can't be, like we're nowhere near that. Just kind of clarifying my feelings on scaling, because sometimes I think that can be easy to misconstrue which direction it's going.
It's also a gradient, so.
It's also a gradient. It's always a gradient, right? Like, oh, 55-45. 45 happens a lot, in those cases. So keep in mind what's going to happen in this one. Contract's going for a bit of a steal. PoE in Vision, and doesn't get to take away the red buff. Contracts. Smite was on cooldown, doesn't get to burn it, but does still claim red buff as we keep this 2,000 gold lead for CLG. Immortal's going to have to back off. They take a couple of Raptors. You can see now that, yeah, Yumi's pretty much permanently attached now to Xerxes. And that's going to be the primary spot. Turtle was kind of on his own. That's why they picked the champion. They knew they were going for a Yumi comp. Jump on a melee carry, let that happen. So Turtle's on a safe pick. He's playing for utility, and they're playing around those melee carries here. And it all fits the style they're going for. Top side now, the focus for CLG. Battlebox clears the wave. The 3 reinforcements have arrived, and PoE is an a 3 versus 4. Is that going to be a defense? We're not sure yet. Landed, Thomas on cooldown, so yeah, worried about a shuffle into a hard engage. They don't really want to, they can't really fight back under turret too easily, so especially with no raw tank, there's no orange to say, like, yeah, let's full aggro, let's do it, guys, like, I can ignore turret. So they don't get to make the aggressive play. CLG still stymied on most pushes.
Yeah, definitely a dangerous proposition there, even with the possibility of Gangplank ultimate coming through. Teleports are now ready and fully operational for cross-map plays, so could easily have the Gwen coming in, looking for some flank angles. A lot of attention being paid to some of these deep rewards here through the later stages of the game, doing their best to clear everything out around there. Currently, there's plenty of time for them to actually go back to
to go on Dragon. As mentioned, moving the wards over is the important part. 2 objectives to play for on each side of the map. Pretty soon anyway. Gonna be a face check into the Thrash. Goes for the big stun. They can't quite find the flash scoop. Luger's gonna stay alive, and that means PoE overextends and dies. Sells out and just gets put in the dirt. While Turtle gonna be next. Gale Force not gonna matter. A double kill for Palafox on his new squad. Looking good.
CLG Academy All-Stars coming out to play, freak. That play will have huge rewards. The Baron is exactly what they need to push this game to the brink. Immortals will have a very difficult time answering this map play now, because it is so easy for CLG to spread. Once they have Baron, they're going to have pushing power. You get right back out with this Baron power and recall. 24 seconds is going to put it to the limits, but you recall so quickly with your Baron-empowered recall. Immortals still recovering from this play right here where they face check into the river, and keep your eyes on Luger. Flashes early to get away from PoE. Saw that coming a mile away. Palafox then comes down the river. Ult answers. They get the kill onto the Azir. Contracts create so much space with Lee Sin, and then is able to get right back out. So this perfectly dissected fight there from CLG. They avoid the punch from Immortals while simultaneously creating that space for the re-engage.
Yep.
And now with the Baron, it's so easy to push the rest of the map. You see Jenkins immediately back out to bottom side. There was no time for Immortals to try and sneak in the possible consolation prize of the Dragon, for the bonus gold or anything going there. So CLG, the new era is here, freak.
So nice to see it. Glad to have him back in the LCS playing with a powerful roster, and looking good so far. Obviously, great out of the bot lane, a great early TV for Palafox to set him up off the tower dive, and since then they've taken control. 3rd Dragon still available for the taking. No, not rush that one right now. minute 50 seconds left for Red Bull Baron power play, and they're going to knock down several more turrets. 4-1 on that scoreline so far, and they would love to crack the inhibitor line itself. Top has so far been untouched. They're going to say bottom side because they know they will always retreat the dragon at the end as long as they don't randomly get ace. And here we go, mid pressure for Palafox on Vex.
They want to make the most of this Baron pushing power. You've got 3 more minion waves to work with. Even if you don't walk up and auto the turret at all, if you play it as safe as possible, here comes the Yuumi Gwen.
Great GP ult defensively. This team just cannot chase beyond that. The Gwen could get in, but that was going to be it. The rest of the squad is not going to join that fight, so no engage. And that means turret's going to take damage again. Again,
it's the tools that they have, the zoning power here on CLG. They don't overexpose themselves, walking up to the tower to auto it until everything has been used, and now it's all over!
Bomb, 1, 2, 3, they're falling. Immortal's going to lose a 4th, and it turns out I'm Mortal is the battle chant. Luger's one will drop. The Bloodline Ace, CLG send their regards. They're going to be the ones doing it to the enemy teams this year. The turrets are going to fall. The Nexus drops. We got a new record for the 2022 start. A 24-minute slaughter. CLG take down Immortal.
Freak, I feel like a proud father. Every new generation of CLG roster, hopeful at the beginning. Yes, this is just one single game in the lock-in tournament.
No, overreaction, Kobe. They're back!
Extremely early, and against one of the other teams in the league that had a lower budget. So definitely remain grounded, but also remain hopeful. This is with the expectations that have been set over the past years of 10th place in both leagues for the organization. So you gotta celebrate those wins, baby. That's the big one.
That is an undefeated CLG. That is Palafox coming in for a great early teleport. That is Poom and Luger got first blood at level 2. They took the fight, they scrapped, and they're like, yeah, looks pretty good. And it snowballed from there. Obviously well played through that one. Of course, we saw some good counterpunches by Immortals. The player on top looked pretty good. Pee-wee had some good shuffles, but we saw that mid game was an overextension. And this engage was, you know, smart, but the GP ult owned it.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many good things that they were able to utilize here for CLG, and then they also never hesitated on their re-engages. Multiple times, avoiding the engagement from Immortals, which is kind of forced. So last time, either after the Azir tries to go in, this time after the Gwen, Yuumi goes in, then just charging right back up. They make use of the extra movement speed there. Luger on this Jinx, with Poom backing him up the entire time with the extra speed, made it look so insanely easy. They dominated in the 2v2. They got their own advantages there. They made use of all the globals of their team. Yes, you can also fault Immortals for saying, hey, you're not accounting for some of these extra globals, teleport to your own tower early on, there's a game plan ultimate for mid play. But you also have to reward the team that is utilizing those and coordinating those effectively.
Yeah, and I gotta say, one of the best feelings in League of Legends is being the ahead AD carry, having someone of the move speed buff on your team, where it's like the Lulu or the Yuumi or the Jillian, it's like, go! You outrun everyone, just go take your kills! And you just fly away. He's gonna throw stats at them. Like, watching Luger's like, I'm diving next to turrets, I'm just gonna Gale Force onto the Jhin. I'm like, that is actually just like Premier AD carry.
I mean, that's the fantasy for why a lot of you main AD carry. Is because you start out as the
little baby hatchling.
Whatever you want to call it, a tadpole, a hatchling.
Haven't got my wings
yet. Some people have worse, you know, analogies for it. Yeah, some people get kind of nasty with them, but you eventually grow into a butterfly.
Yeah, and then it's beautiful.
Supported by the whole team.
Exactly.
Give me smooth speed. It's like the kid in the pool, raising them up. Raised up as well.
Yeah.
That's the fantasy that Luger got to live, and honestly, the entire team performed quite well, though, in this one. You know, contracts for a lot of early games. I played really well by him. As far as the stage check went from Immortals 2, created a lot of space there, while Poom was dodging away from the engage. So, honestly, yeah, it is very small sample size.
Of course, it looks like. And we do get a second game.
And coming up, our next game is a banger.
Is Team Liquid Evil Geniuses. That one's going to be a lot of fun. EG are my pick to win the lock-in tournament. TL for Jats. I don't know if they're the Thieves, so which way it goes.
I was borderline between picking the opponent for 100 Thieves, between EG and Team Liquid.
Yeah.
So, I ended up going with EG, but
most people did pick EG as the winner. They go for very fun, very excited about these next up very soon. I believe we are headed to either the analyst or a break as our stuff broke, but we'll see you soon.
Vix!
Take a look while you can, because if you blink, you'll miss it. I'm sure you've heard the news.
Goal, and more goal.
Here comes the big play. Oh, perfect timing. You can see this one coming. They get what they need. They got the mid. They got the support. They got the top.
Are they going to give you some fun League of Legends?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Welcome to the LCS.
FCX, official cryptocurrency exchange partner of the LCS.
Sequence. I'll just have to kill them. We should throw a feast. Let us